Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Imagine this. You're trying to study for a big exam, but your neighbor decides it's the perfect time for a full-on karaoke party. Or picture a beautiful, historic building in your city that you love walking past every day, even though you don't own it. What do these two things have in common? They're both perfect examples of something economists call externalities. It's a fancy word, but the idea is simple and it affects our lives every single day. Today, we read diving deep into Chapter 10 of Mankiw's Principles of Economics to understand what externalities are, why they matter, and how they can sometimes cause markets to, well, mess up. We'll be looking at some fascinating real-world examples right from Indonesia to bring these concepts to life. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's talk about the hidden costs and benefits all around us. So, what exactly is an externality? In simple terms, it's the uncompensated impact of one person's actions on the well-being of a bystander, that karaoke-loving neighbor. Their loud singing is imposing a cost on you, your lost concentration, and you're not getting paid for that trouble. This is what we call a negative externality. It's when an action creates a cost for someone else who isn't involved in the transaction. Think about pollution. A factory might produce goods that people want to buy, which is great for the factory owner and the consumers. But if that factory releases smoke into the air or waste into a river, it imposes a health and environmental cost on the entire community. The market price of the factory's goods doesn't reflect this wider social cost. The factory isn't paying for the pollution, and the community is bearing the burden. Let's look at a classic Indonesian example, the traffic jams, or macet, in cities like Jakarta. When a person decides to drive their car, they consider their private costs, things like gasoline, tolls, and the time it takes them to get to their destination. But they don't typically factor in the cost they impose on everyone else. Each additional car on the road adds to the congestion, slowing everyone else down, increasing total fuel consumption for all drivers, and adding to air pollution. This is a massive negative externality. The individual driver's decision creates a larger social cost that isn't reflected in their personal calculation. This is a classic case of market failure, where the individual pursuit of self-interest leads to a collectively worse outcome. Everyone is stuck in traffic, complaining about the traffic, while simultaneously being part of the traffic. Now, let's flip the coin and talk about positive externalities. These are the good side effects, the benefits that spill over to others. Remember that beautiful historic building? The owner maintains it, which costs them money. But you and everyone else who walks by get to enjoy its beauty for free. You receive a benefit without paying for it. That's a positive externality. Another great example is education. When you pursue higher education, you primarily think about the private benefits, a better job, higher income, personal growth. But society also benefits tremendously. An educated population leads to more innovation, better governance, lower crime rates, and a more productive workforce overall. Your personal investment in education has a positive spillover effect on the entire community. Let's bring this back to Indonesia. A fantastic example of a positive externality is the restoration of heritage sites, like the Borobudur Temple complex. The government and various organizations invest significant funds in preserving this incredible wonder. The direct benefits go to the tourism industry and the people who work there, but the positive externalities are huge. It boosts national pride, provides educational opportunities for students, and creates a cultural landmark that benefits the entire nation and even the world. Similarly, when a farmer in a rural area adopts sustainable farming techniques that prevent soil erosion, they're not just helping their own land. They're also preventing sediment from washing into rivers, which benefits downstream communities by ensuring cleaner water and reducing flood risks. The farmer's private action creates a public good, So, if markets fail to account for these externalities, what can be done? This is where policy comes in. For negative externalities, the goal is to internalize the externality. This means making the decision maker feel the full social cost of their actions. How? One way is through taxes, often called Pigouvian taxes after the economist Arthur Pigou. Let's go back to the Jakarta traffic. The government could impose congestion pricing, charging drivers more to enter the city center during peak hours. This tax would make drivers internalize the cost of the congestion they create, hopefully encouraging them to use public transport, carpool, or travel at off-peak times. In Indonesia, we've seen various policies aimed at this. The odd-even license plate policy in Jakarta is a non-tax attempt to limit the number of cars. A more direct approach would be a carbon tax on industries that pollute, making it more expensive to emit greenhouse gases and creating a financial incentive to invest in cleaner technology. For positive externalities, the goal is the opposite. We want more of these activities, so the policy solution is often to subsidize them. The government wants to encourage education because of its positive spillovers, so it provides scholarships, student loans, and funds public universities. This subsidy lowers the private cost of education, encouraging more people to enroll than would otherwise. In Indonesia, the government's support for small and medium enterprises, or UMKM, can be seen in this light. When a small business succeeds, it not only benefits the owner, but also creates jobs and stimulates the local economy. So, government grants or low-interest loans for UMKM act as a subsidy to encourage this positive externality of entrepreneurship. Similarly, offering tax breaks to companies that invest in research and development is another way to subsidize the positive externality of innovation. A new technology developed by one company can often be adapted and used by others, benefiting the entire industry. But government intervention isn't the only solution. Sometimes, private solutions can work. The Coase theorem, named after economist Ronald Coase, suggests that if property rights are well-defined and transaction costs are low, private parties can often negotiate and solve externality problems on their own. Let's go back to our first example, the karaoke-loving neighbor. Instead of calling the police, you could simply talk to them. Maybe you could agree on certain quiet hours. Or you could even offer to pay them a small amount to not sing during your study time. It sounds a bit strange, but you're essentially creating a market for quiet. This works for small-scale problems. For larger issues like air pollution from hundreds of factories, negotiating a private solution is practically impossible. The transaction costs of getting everyone together would be way too high. That's why for large-scale externalities, government policies like taxes or regulations are usually more effective. Let's consider an Indonesian context for the Coase theorem. Imagine a hotel resort located next to a noisy traditional market that operates early in the morning. The noise is a negative externality for the hotel guests. The hotel owner could try to sue the market, which is one route. But another, perhaps more efficient solution would be for the hotel to negotiate. Maybe the hotel could pay for soundproofing materials for the market stalls closest to the property. Or they could pay the vendors to start their noisy activities a little later in the morning. If the benefit to the hotel from having quiet mornings is greater than the cost of the solution, a deal can be made that makes both parties better off without any government stepping in. The key is clearly defined rights and the ability to negotiate cheaply. So, to recap what we've covered today, externalities are the hidden costs and benefits that affect people who aren't part of the initial decision or transaction. Negative externalities, like pollution and traffic, lead markets to produce more of a good or service than is socially desirable. Positive externalities, like education and innovation, lead markets to produce less than is socially desirable. This is a form of market failure. To fix this, we can use public policies. We can tax activities with negative externalities to discourage them, and we can subsidize activities with positive externalities to encourage them. Sometimes, private individuals can also negotiate their own solutions, as suggested by the Coase theorem, but this is usually only practical for smaller scale problems. Understanding externalities is absolutely crucial because it helps us see that the market, left completely to its own devices, doesn't always lead to the most efficient or fair outcome for society as a whole. The price tag on a product rarely tells the whole story. There are often hidden social costs or unseen public benefits that are just as important. Policies designed to address externalities are all about aligning private incentives with social well-being, trying to get us closer to a world where people and companies take responsibility for the full impact of their actions. It's a reminder that in our interconnected world, our choices always have ripples affecting the well-being of those around us, our communities, and our planet. Thank you so much for joining me today for this deep dive into externalities. I hope these examples from Indonesia helped make these economic concepts clearer and more relatable. It's a topic that's all around us, from the air we breathe to the knowledge we share. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the world of economics. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What are some other examples of externalities you see in your daily life? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.